Every day, everywhere you look, you are constantly inundated with logos, colors, and even taglines by companies trying to get your attention.
All of these companies have an identity, a backstory, or a reason why they exist.
Few people actually break down the brand image.
What's their why?
What's their mission?
What do they stand for?
Well, we've connected with entrepreneurs and other interesting people from these companies to share what it is about them and their company
that truly makes them brand worthy.
So let's get to the show.
Hey, what's going on, friends? Jason here with Brandworthy, powered by Love Local Media Agency. Excited to be here today with a good friend, Alan Stern. You may know him as the one-man content machine, and you also may know him as the president of Persona Marketing. He is helping us as small businesses thrive in this new digital era with artificial intelligence by doing the legwork and learning everything that we need to know to be able to help amplify our messages within this current marketing landscape. So today, we're going to dive into ChatGPT and really why we should use it, and so maybe some tips on what we should be doing to be able to help get the most out of the tool to be able to help generate content that is true to your business. So without further ado, let me stop talking and introduce you to Mr. Alan Stern. Welcome to the show, man.
Man, I appreciate the big musical introduction, but most importantly, man, it feels good to be back. Grateful for the opportunity, man. Thank you for having me.
This is third podcast that we've done together.
Lucky number 3.
And lucky number 3. So this is a pretty big deal, and seeing the evolution of you and what you've done within your business and how you have a true passion for marketing, not only aligns us as friends, but as business partners as well. So I kind of want to get in today. We're going to talk about ChatGPT and we're going to talk about artificial intelligence, but I want to give people a little bit of overview that maybe don't know you. Just a little bit about who Alan Stern is and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And for the record, there's nobody else I'd rather be nerding out over AI over a podcast with than you, man. So sincerely appreciate it. My background is in owning a DJ company and in selling cars. 2 completely unrelated fields, but the one thing that they have in common is they're both self-generated roles. So from a young age, I've had to master the art of making the phones ring without spending any money. About 18 months ago, I decided to do a speaking engagement just to check something off the box on how to become a one-man content machine and do all of your own marketing so that you don't have to pay somebody to do it for you. And it just took off. Fast forward a little bit, I've got close to 40 of them under my belt. And here I am now actually starting a business called Persona Marketing, where I teach people how to show their personality in their marketing, leveraging AI, because people don't buy from brands. They buy from people that represent brands.
Yeah, amen, man. And I love your story because it's a true, authentic story. It's about you started from as a DJ with maybe you didn't really have good marketing skills. Can I just say that at that time?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Your marketing skills have evolved, but you kept putting in the work and you kept growing. And then today, where you're at, and after fighting out of the pandemic time frame, now you're bringing on Persona Marketing and you are giving so much value to small businesses. Talk to me a little bit about Persona Marketing and your vision for the company.
Yeah, definitely. So basically, the underlying theme here and the concept that I truly wholeheartedly believe in is it doesn't matter if times are good or if times are bad. All things considered, people do business with those who they know, like, and trust. Hence, people don't buy from brands. They buy from people who represent brands. So in all of my years of networking, what I love most is you're meeting the authentic people who represent the business at the community level. Now, I will tell you, I absolutely love selling cars. There's nothing wrong with it. But what's way cooler than any car that I can sell is helping the little guy win the day. And that's why I'm so excited about AI, because it's truly the best employee that you don't have to pay for. And every business wants 2 things. We all want to make more revenue and cut expenses. And by leveraging AI, which literally, it may sound tacky, but it's the equivalent of a Google search, except you're just interacting with a robot.
It's probably the future Google search at the end of the day, and how we'll get accustomed to it as well. So first thing I want to ask you is, some people might know about ChatGPT, but I get surprised at how many people haven't dove into it yet. When I'm like, I'll be out on the streets, out networking, I'll ask people and they're like, oh, no, I haven't used it yet. I'm like, what are you doing? You start using this tool. Can you explain to people what ChatGPT is?
Yeah, absolutely. So if I can just oversimplify this and put this at a 5th grade level, ChatGPT is simply an artificial intelligence tool that helps you write, think, and solve problems faster than ever before. Now, that last portion, problems, is so important because all sales is the exchange of money to solve a problem. People exchange their time and money to join a chamber of commerce to grow relationships in the community and to grow their business. That's the problem that it solves.
Yes.
So, what I love is the fact that if you're going to reverse engineer marketing online, it's only fair to go on ChatGPT and say, well, what are 5 problems that would cause somebody to consider purchasing blank product or service? And now you have all of these marketing ideas that are actual pain points that cause somebody to reach out for you. Now, much like the world of marketing, artificial intelligence can mean 1,000 different things to 1,000 different people. So how each business wants to use it depends on what they want to get out of it, but there's a ton of different ways.
Yeah, it's you said it earlier, it's your best employee. The difference is it doesn't talk back like some other employees. It keeps it a little bit simpler. And you've used it a lot and implemented it into workflows within our business. It's helped us go quicker, and it helps us generate ideas to be able to that maybe they come to us or that maybe spark other ideas. But at the end of the day, we're able to pass on that knowledge and that really the cost savings at the end of the day to the consumer, because it helps keep things leaner. It keeps things cheaper at the end of the day when used correctly, right? There's many people out there that are like, oh, artificial intelligence, those people need to stop being scared. Artificial intelligence is going to be as good as the people that are inputting that content into it. So focus in on like your business, your niche, your mission, your values. And what I love what you said here was you're like, use that to spark ideas to be able to create content.
Right.
So talk to me a little bit about that. Like, what are some of those ideas that small businesses could do to be able to spark those ideas and to be able to create content within their business?
Yeah. So just in the long form content world, let's say that you're a realtor, a loan officer, an insurance agent, a coach, a car salesman, anybody who's in a self-generated role. ChatGPT will actually write and create content for you. Now, I want to give you a disclaimer. I'm against plagiarizing big time. I'm responsible to you, but not for you with what you do with this data. But let's say that you wanted to get some long form content ideas and you happen to sell cars, like, my background. I could literally go on ChatGPT and say, give me 10 blog ideas for a car salesman that blank audience might appreciate. So now let's say that I even wanted to go a layer deeper and I say, what are 10 audiences that may benefit from a blog post on car sales? It'll fire out a whole bunch of ideas. Now, there's the lazy way of doing this where you can just say, all right, well, generate an article for that audience. I'm not going to say it's plagiarizing, but let's just call it what it is. Somebody else wrote it. But if you're going to have
a robot wrote it,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, who would claim that or whatnot. But the reality is you can take that article and you can ask for several variations. So let's say that you had an article written for you that explains 5 things that you need to know before you buy a used car in this market. I would ask for several variations of that. You have several pages worth of content that's right there. Take a highlighter to it, make it your own, rewrite it. That way you know what's in it, because there's nothing worse than having an article written for you. You pass that article along and somebody says, whoa, Alan, that article that you gave me was mind blowing. I love what you put on page 2 in the 3rd paragraph. Meanwhile, you have no idea what was on the 3rd paragraph because you didn't write it.
Totally.
So don't make the mistake. I recommend, if you're going to leverage it for ideas, just say, hey, give me blank amount. Let's just stick with 10. Give me 10 short form, long form blog post content ideas for blank industry and just see what happens and take it from there.
Yeah, it goes back to earlier. Like, it helps speed things up, but it shouldn't take your voice away. It should help you amplify your voice, right? Like, at the end of the day, because it's helping you get that idea, but it should still be your voice.
Right.
We just we're working with a company and we produce content for on a monthly basis, and they're getting their website done and reviewing the website and giving them like a brand messaging perspective on it to be able to give feedback to the website company. Website company used ChatGPT a lot for their articles and for all their writing. And as I read it, I'm like, well, is this you? And that was the first thing I asked. I'm like, I've been working with you now for the last 1.5 years, and I've never heard you use some of these words. So my advice to him was like, use ChatGPT or have them use ChatGPT just like they would, but it should still be your voice. It should be what you want to get out into the world. We all have that, right? But we could utilize ChatGPT to help steer us in the right direction. But at the end of the day, it needs to be us talking, and it needs to be like our messaging out there. So I think my thought process is, and looking at like where's ChatGPT going, I always think of, and where's artificial intelligence, but I try not to go too far ahead yet. But I think about where we've been. And you look at social media, it's still like a relatively new platform. You look at the history of things within our world, like what, 2005, 6, 7, Facebook kind of came along. We had MySpace, which I know you're a power influencer on.
Top 8, bro.
On MySpace still. Side note, they shut that site down. I was looking for it.
I was absolutely looking for some old pictures a few weeks ago, and I was devastated when I realized they shut it down.
They shut down MySpace. I mean, they could have had a comeback.
Should we call Tom?
Yeah, maybe we should. And Mark Zuckerberg could have had a run for his money. But there's already been an evolution within social media. When we first went on it, half the people didn't want to be able to go on it, and they're like, "Oh no!" Like you only had the early adopters there, and the next thing you know, you started having the moms and the grandmas on there, and they're connecting, and you started seeing businesses come on there more. You started ads, and maybe we could target ads to be able to do that, and for me, I look at like 2016, 2017, where it was like this scaling thing that happened with video that is still happening on these platforms that is helping people create authentic content. So if you were to like look into the future, like knowing that's where we came from, you're an AI expert and and understand how we could use it for these businesses. Where do you see the social media going with tools like ChatGPT? And the second part of that question, how is it going to, how, as a business owner, what would you share with them on like the people that like on the fence of like, should I do it or should I not utilize this tool to be able to help build my brand?
So I love what you said earlier about voice. At the end of the day, we're all in the people business. You might be in the podcasting and the media business. You're in the people business.
100%, yeah.
When you're in the people business, it's all about creating connection. Like right now, I've never met some people that are going to be listening to this, but there's a connection that's created based off of value that I've given, and they can see that it's an authentic person that's talking to them. So I love what you said on that. Now, on the other hand, think of it like this. Scary, but things in the history of the world have never moved this fast, but they will also never move this slow again.
You've been talking to Katie Frank.
Yeah.
I have that quote written down as well.
Man, why you got to steal my thunder like that?
Right.
By the way, I definitely did not come up with that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I got it from her too. And I agree. We'll give her a shout out where a shout out is due.
It's totally spot on though, because if you really think about this, again, doesn't matter if times are good or bad, people buy from people, not brands.
Totally.
Social media is strictly about creating connection in the people business. And then the advertising components of that is saying, hey, show this message to this person based off of their buying habits and their interests. Now, AI makes things a lot easier. It also makes things a lot scarier, because when it comes to the marketing angle and when it comes to the collecting data angle, it could do that faster than any human could. The example that I use here is how a business could actually collect all of the data in 3 easy steps. There's something that's called prompt chaining, which basically means you take what you just entered and you build on that a few layers deeper. This is very different than a Google search where you just go on and you just type something in and it gives you the results. So let's say that you wanted to do this sequence. And this is, I encourage anybody who's listening right now to try this. Whatever your business is, I'm going to use a car-related example. I can go in and I can say, what are 5 problems that cause somebody to consider purchasing a new car? It'll spit out a ton of data. But you see, the riches are in the niches. The idea of making content is you want it to resonate with somebody so they say, hey, this applies to me. So now what I can do is I can follow that up, step 2, by saying, what are the consequences of not solving each of those problems. And what ChatGPT is going to do is it's going to build off of those original set of problems with the consequences. So now me as a salesperson or a business owner can create urgency. That way you can say, hey, I know this is here, but I'm going to wait a little bit. I could respond by saying, hey, if you wait, this could happen, creating a little bit of urgency. But now what I can do as a business person or a salesperson is I can say, all right, well, who's most likely to experience each of those problems? So now I have an audience, a pain point that they experience, a way to build urgency of my marketing data that's right there. But all of this is great. The issue with ChatGPT is it gives you so much data in such a short time window where, let's be honest, yeah, it's there, but are we actually going to read it? So I can follow that up by saying, take the above 3 threads and put it into table format. And now I have a very short, easy to read table that says problem, audience, consequences. And if I'm going to go ahead and create long form content, which you'd asked me about earlier, that resonates with somebody, ask yourself this. Instead of saying create an article to somebody who might be interested in a car, how much better would that article be if I said create an article targeted towards somebody who owns a vehicle that's 10 plus years old, experiencing the problem of frequent car repairs, and remind them of not solving the problem sooner. Just like that, I've got a laser focused article that resonates with somebody that costs me nothing but a few minutes of my time. So that's a very powerful example of how anybody who is in a sales role or a business role can leverage ChatGPT right now. And I'm telling you, I genuinely feel bad for the people that are not using this right now, because you have to stay on top of this. Otherwise, it will topple you. This is how you just absolutely smoke your competition right now.
If you're not, your competition is using it, right? You know, I was having, we work with a lot of nonprofits, and I was talking with a nonprofit, like, oh, we're not using it. I'm like, well, why not? Like, you should be using it. And like pointing out there some of the, competition with nonprofits. They'll say it's not there, but it's there, right? They're all chasing the same dollars at the end of the day in our community, right? So there is a competition there, but like if you're not using it, like other people are, and they're going to go faster than you. So look at a year ahead, look at it, 2 years ahead, etc. And you're going to lose if you don't start using it, implementing it. I listened to Seth Godin, which I think we've talked about before. He's been one of my catalysts in just to loving marketing and really understanding that my brain thinks in stories and that type of thing. And I remember a lot of his books. One of them that was influential here was The Purple Cow, that I could touch base on in a minute, that really talks about making content that stands out. But he talked about artificial intelligence is underestimated. Even though me and you hear it every single day, it's underestimated by the masses about what it can do. And we understand, we just talked about how you could identify the problems of an audience. That to me, even if I'm doing that business, you can't go that quick to be able to work out those solutions. But he talked about, imagine when it's right next to us. He was like, when we started Google, we didn't put this right next to us. And now everybody, when you want to know something, I'm going to Google it and you're going to get that answer. Imagine when ChatGPT is that same thing.
For sure.
and what it is, what our world's going to come into, when everybody's looking into it, and it's going to be better then, right? Because it's a machine learning operating system. Imagine what our world looks like then. You talk about going faster. You talk about than it's ever been before. I would agree with you. I think our world's going to get more and more faster. And I would agree that it's going to be the people at the end of the day. Like, that's going to have to be the differentiator, because you can make anything look and feel anyway with the help of artificial intelligence.
100%. I want to use an example real quick too. Scale of 1 to 10. Where would you say your skill level of math is?
2.
Oh, me too. I absolutely suck at math. But let's say that I was a level 10.
Yeah.
And you gave me a long ass math problem. Who's going to win? The calculator or me?
Yes.
The calculator is going to smoke me. It's the same thing here with market data, creating long form content, short form content, all of that. You're dealing with the calculator speed, just like that. Yeah. So we're just getting started.
It's a great analogy. Yeah, I look at it, and the principles are still the same. Like, my brain thinks in the future. Usually, 9 times out of 10, I feel sorry for my team, but it thinks into the future. But I think about when, to Seth Godin's point, like when this is implemented into everybody's kind of world on how fast it'll go to, the differentiator is going to be the same. You still need to make content that stands out to be able to stop somebody in their news feed, right? You say that, like, stop the scroll. I think that's one of your taglines.
100%, man.
That principle will not go away, whether it's with ChatGPT or not ChatGPT. But how you could speed it up, and how we've used it here with Love Local Media is we'll generate those ideas, so then all of a sudden we could go make content at scale quickly, with these ideas that talk to our target audience, by going over the principles that you shared with me, early on in your learning process that you're talking about with the tables and prompt chaining and those types of things.
I'll give you another one too.
Yeah.
Let's say that somebody else wrote an article. Man,
Yeah.
I'm giving away everything on this.
Well.
Let's say that somebody else wrote an article that was just amazing. There's nothing stopping you from copy and pasting that into ChatGPT and saying, give me a variation of this article,
Sure.
but targeted towards this industry, right from the perspective of salesperson, business owner, marketer, Jim Carrey, Morgan Freeman, celebrity, whatever it is. There's nothing stopping you from doing this. And at that point, you can ask for other variations of that, make it your own. And that's how you just, within minutes, get all of the content out.
Yeah, I love it. And one of the reasons why I love it is I think ChatGPT plus making content that's like authentic to that brand or that nonprofit, whatever it is. I think those two together are going to help people thrive and win when used correctly. And the reason for that is, like, since the internet, since online, like, there's proven stats on, like, the buyer's journey has changed. Let's look at car dealerships. When people wanted a car before, they might start talking to you beforehand, or from like a real estate standpoint, they would call me a year beforehand. What do I need to do to be able to get into a home or to be able to sell my home? Now it's like a week beforehand. It's maybe a little bit, if it's an older seller, that they want a little bit more time to be able to get the home ready. The reason for that is, like, the buyer's journey has changed.
It's completely changed.
They used to come to us as the professional really early on. Now they're on these social platforms, they're Googling, they're doing all the research.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily our job to tell them what to do anymore. They almost know what to do, or at least the direction to go, time they even get to us. It's our job to be able to guide them to that next step, and to be able to get them through that process. But there's no better way to educate your audience than humanized content plus ChatGPT put together, where you're talking and you really get to understand their pain points. Like, I remember going into pain points on for people with small businesses and media companies, or and creating media and marketing for their business. And I'm like, holy crap, like, this is all real. But if I had to generate all that on myself, like, it would have took me so much longer. But now, right questions, the right prompt chaining, and next thing you know, I have 30, 40 content ideas that our team is be able to create content with quickly. And we kind of go on from there. So I the thought process I want to see for and hear from you is really, like, you have ChatGPT, you have the prompt chaining, and you could build out your social media calendar. That's what I hear you saying, right? Through that, you can build out your social media calendar. Then how else can you create? Like, I've heard you talk about different platforms, different apps. I've heard you talk about selfie videos, those types of things. Talk about that from your perspective.
Yeah, definitely. So here's the very basics of this. The average person sees somewhere between 4,000 and 10,000 advertisements every single day. It's a ridiculous amount of noise and clutter that you have to cut through. So, as you mentioned earlier, your number one goal in marketing is to simply stop the scroll. You can talk, but if nobody's listening, it's not a good thing. Half of the battle marketing on social media is getting noticed. The other half is getting remembered. So if you want to cut through the noise, the idea here is to have content that resonates with somebody. So here's a great way for somebody to leverage ChatGPT. Frequently asked questions. Let's say that you are a media company. I'll just pick on you for a second. You can go on ChatGPT and say, what are 10 frequently asked questions, short form content ideas that might resonate with blank audience? Then you can take all of the Q&A that you just got from there. You can go on Canva, which if you're not using Canva, it's a free app that's probably the best all-in-one marketing platform on the planet. You got everything there.
Yeah.
It's insane. So in 2 minutes or less, you can just go and type in frequently asked question template. Now, all of a sudden, you just input the Q&A ideas that ChatGPT gave you, and somebody who might be a potential prospect for, let's just say, a podcasting studio or getting a sizzle reel or some other service that you guys do, you can create content that resonates with them by, keyword here, solving a problem that they didn't know that they have. Because when you speak to your prospect's pain point better than they can articulate it, we'll assume that you're the solution. Education-based marketing works wonders. Now, it's not a term that I coined. I actually got that from a great book called The Ultimate Sales Machine that talks about the importance of using market data. Because here's the thing, when you sell, you're breaking rapport. But when you educate, you're actually building it. So in a way, you're able to sell without appearing salesy. So you can get the content ideas and the pain points, and then you can put them in a short, easy to read, digestible format, whether that's an infographic, whether that's a selfie video, whether it's a podcast clip like you and I are doing right now. These are all forms of content that would resonate with people.
Yeah, and there'll probably be more forms of content that'll evolve as our world continues to evolve too. That those pieces will change. They already have, right? But I agree. Canva is that tool, and I've seen the evolution of it over the last 6 years. Like
It's nuts.
it is by far, it makes everybody a creative, I feel like. And I do feel that way in general, that everybody has some type of creative gene in them. It's just or the person to be able to figure it out. But it makes it easy, man. Where before, like, Adobe products, those are great tools, but the learning curve on how to learn from them was just, it takes so much longer. Now you see Canva that just simplifies things, and it makes things look pretty. Even if you don't have like an art degree, you could focus in on your brand color, you could focus in on your brand messaging, you could do all that stuff within Canva. You can make video outros, video intros. You could do, you could put those in the back of your selfie videos that are branded, that could kind of bring your your story to life, I guess you could
And then
say.
you can go on ChatGPT and say, give me 10 selfie video ideas to promote blank industry.
Yep.
Like, if you wanted to, there's nothing stopping you from saying, hey, go on ChatGPT and, hey, what are 10 questions that I should ask somebody who's on a podcast focusing on AI? I mean, it's just hilarious how useful this is.
Yeah, and maybe we did that, but maybe I asked for 20 questions. We cut it down to the best, right? But the idea is it's a tool to help us scale what we already know and to learn it quicker, right? But at the end of the day, we still have to be like, is it the right voice for my business? Is it the right message that I want to be able to get across? You don't want to put up something there that's inauthentic. I feel like two things. I think the people will smell that from a mile away, right? When it's inauthentic. For two, these platforms don't think that they're not going after AI and stopping content that's not like authentic in ways, right? Or giving people the option to be able to do that with, look at Facebook or Instagram. You have those three little dots up there. It could tell you like, hey, don't show this to me anymore. So one thing that they're beta testing now, and I'll look at just Facebook for this, is if it's not like, I won't use Canva yet. I don't think it's there yet, but I eventually could see that going in there. But like, people share links, people share stuff that's not inauthentic. And 10 years ago, that would have went somewhere. Now that's not going anywhere. And you have the opportunity to be able to hide that post. Those abilities to be able to hide things are going to happen more and more as AI comes out of what we want to be able to see, right? These social media platforms, they want to keep us where? Keep us on their platforms, right? They make money off of ad spend. Eventually, even us, even Facebook now, you have to, you're getting that blue little check mark for the authenticity piece. So I feel like their model will always be ads. The ads will scale, and that'll be a big part of the revenue. And as it grows, and as personal brands grow, having our own, $8 a month, $12 a month type thing will continue to be on there. But if we don't create authentic content using this, you're not going to win. Like, the algorithms will eventually stop it, and eventually, like, you're going to be spinning your wheels, just like the links were. So, or are, I guess, when you look at it, as we go forward. So I think, like, what other challenges what do you see with AI that could be some other challenges for businesses that could almost hurt them more than help them when it comes to using AI.
So for the people who just copy and paste, let's say that there was a blog that was written by
Yeah,
ChatGPT.
I
First
would
off,
agree
let's
with
be
that.
honest. How many times have you and I scrolled through Facebook and we see something and we're like, yeah, ChatGPT definitely wrote that. You tell right away, for sure.
When I saw that website, I'm like, this isn't real. Like,
You can tell right away. And just to circle back around about the topic of the human voice, if there's somebody who talks in slang and is just laid back and kind of has a slap happy sense of humor, and you see an article or something that was written, and it's got a bunch of long words, you know that guy didn't write it.
Yeah.
100%. So the issue that I see happening for the people who just copy and paste, they might have the same article or the same email campaign or the same retargeting ad or whatever it was that Chat GPT or some other sort of AI, because Google has Bard, wrote. So there's a challenge there, but you know what? I'm of the belief, I truly feel that the good outweighs the bad as long as it's being used for the right reasons. Now, is there bad stuff that's going to happen as a result of AI? For sure. You and I both know what's going to happen with AI in 6 months or a year or 2 years from now. We're going to sit back and look and we're going to say, "Whoa, remember when it just did that? We didn't even talk about video." The human element right now, I'm not going to say is untouched when it comes to AI and video, but I'll give anybody who's listening right now a taste of where this is going. Go on YouTube and type in Synthesia, Synthesia or O, one of these two things. Anyways, Chat GPT and Google Bard, it's just text. Hey, create long form content that does this.
Mhm.
But what happens when you take that text and you upload it to something that has actual avatars with body language, emotions, mannerisms, inflections in their voice, and now it looks like a real person is talking about that? That exists. The other thing too is you can create your own avatar. Now, I'm not going to put on the tinfoil hat here and say that you're going to have avatars playing movies and whatnot, but I certainly wouldn't rule it out. So I'm a big believer in when the majority of the world zigs, it's a great opportunity for you to zag. If now it's mass access to long form content creation from robots or maybe in a little bit avatars, people are going to appreciate when they're actually dealing with a real human
For
being.
sure. Yep.
And the most recent example I'll give you that is, let's call it what it is. We go to a lot of restaurants right now. Service is not very good. I don't know about you. When I actually get good service and somebody blows me away, I'm not tipping 20%. I'm tipping 30, 35, 40, whatever it is, just for saying, hey, thank you for showing up to work today and being a decent human being and not having a lousy work ethic. So I see the same principle applying there with AI, where the human voice is only going to get magnified more.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that we need it to do that, right? And then we also need to understand that, like, with the tools that are coming out, to take content that you don't know where the source is from, take it with a grain of salt until you do more research, because what could
Right.
be created on there could also be dangerous. Let's
Oh,
be
for sure.
honest, and it's already being used, not to get into the election stuff, but like that stuff could 100% brainwash
It's gonna be
and manipulate
wild
people.
next year.
It's already happened. I'd be
It's already happening for sure.
willing to put a lot of money on it's already been happening as we look back in history. But not to go there. I go back. I agree with you that humans will win if we use it, and if we use it the right way to give people value. I think of video, and I think of, you hear all the time, oh, I don't want to do video. I don't want, it scares me. I'm like, well, you're missing out then, man. Like, or woman, like you're missing out, because if you utilize this tool with ChatGPT, yes, it does great with Canva, and I love Canva, and we use it a lot too. But now, and other things and other tools, but now if you use it with video that is authentically you, and you go through that process of getting better at video, there's nothing that could stop you down the road. And when they make an avatar of you,
Right.
not if, when, well, the world will have changed by then. You'll be ahead of it. You've already built your community. They know what you're saying. So if something is said or something that doesn't fit with your guidelines, they're going to know that, because your community is going to be, and they're going to protect you.
By the way,
that's the beauty of creating a community on social.
100%. And by the way, I love the fact that people are scared to do video. When the world zigs, great opportunity to zag. Because the thing about video, for all of the people that are snoozing on it, there's nothing better than a video ad that sells. You make it once, and then you just throw money behind it to show it to the right people. It's basically a salesperson that you don't have to pay for, that you can scale based off of the metrics. That's authentic. There's no better piece of content than video.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was what 2017. It was a quote that says by the end of 2023, 84% of the IP addresses on the internet are going to be video. And that was at the time, I was a full-fledged realtor. And I'm like, well, screw cold calling. I'm just going to go make videos. And that just turned into what we're building now because of what I saw in this time in history. So I think without knowing, I was zagging, but I go back to, I've countless people, even now, like I'm scared of video or I don't want to do it or I don't like the way I look on it. You all have to get over that,
100% got to get
because
over.
we see you like you are on video. So just know that, like, so if you're you and you're true to yourself, you're going to be fine on video. And the people that know, like, and trust you already are going to continue to know, like, and trust you. And they're going to respect you for breaking the barrier to be able to go on and create video. I look at and you have people like this too, but I look at people I've worked with that have like changed their businesses because they've added video into their business, realtors, mortgage lenders. For me, like, it's not necessarily a target audience now all the time, but it is definitely a piece of people who we worked with and help grow authentic content. But video will help you win. I promise you that.
Oh,
You tie it with
100%.
ChatGPT, next thing you know, you're pretty much a cyborg
Oh,
at the end of the day.
exactly.
And you can create content, but that is still authentic to you.
But
You're getting their knowledge
for sure.
to
And
help
by the
speed
way,
it up.
I'll give everybody a quick video hack here. You can literally go on ChatGPT and say, give me 10 video ideas that a first-time home buyer might appreciate. Throws all these content ideas out there for you.
And then you go like this. Hey, what's up, first-time home buyers? Good news for you. I know it's tough for you being able to buy your home. And where do you start? Well, the first place you start is being able to go ahead and get pre-approved. So work with a lender that you know, like, and trust to be able to help get pre-approved so that when we go out looking for homes that you can we could be looking for the homes that you can afford. So whatever, something like that. It's that easy. By putting in the reps. And, I think when we talk about video creation and the people that don't like video, get over it. Just get over it. Start making videos one a day and you don't even have to post it. Just do it. And then you're going to realize you're not as bad as you are, right? Remember the first video you did for cars? Like, it's probably funny, right?
Oh, it's bad.
The one I did for real
it's
estate,
really bad.
phone's shaking. It's horrific if I look back on it now. But you have to go through that process. You have to start
For sure.
in order to get up.
Or
And
you
now
can
we
just
can get up quicker because of ChatGPT.
Or you could just stay on the sidelines. And the reality is people like you and people like me are just going to come for your lunch, your dinner, and your dessert. When the world zigs, zag.
Now that's a clip. All right.
It is.
All right, man. So let's I'm having a lot of fun in this conversation. We're going to have a step 2 of this when the time is right to be able to talk about ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence tools that could help small businesses thrive, while keeping a lot of their money towards their bottom line. But what if you have to give some best practices? We get ready to close up this podcast. Some best practices for businesses that want to optimize AI generated content for social media to be able to build an audience and engagement. What would that advice be?
I even came up with a cool name for it for you as well. It's called the HEAT method. Combine humor, education, adding value and trust into your marketing strategy, and it will allow you to meet somebody in person one time at a networking event, add them across social media, and then based off of the kind of content that you post, not only are you top of mind and stopping the scroll, but people begin to know you, like you, trust you, and you become very easy to recommend. Now, to unpack this and how it actually works, people go on social media to be entertained. That's why your audience is there, because here's what they're doing on social media. Mindlessly scrolling. So if you're going to stop the scroll, memes and GIFs are very funny. But what most people don't know is they can be turned into an advertisement just like that, and they require zero graphic design skill. There's also nothing stopping you from going on ChatGPT and saying, give me 10 meme ideas that would resonate with blank industry to promote blank business. Yeah. So the humor aspect is important, but the issue is if you just make the mistake like I did of posting memes and GIFs all day, people are going to say, hey, are you a comedian? Or can you actually help me? So that's where the second area comes in, which is education-based marketing. Again, over here, you're creating connection online by making somebody laugh. Over here with education-based marketing, you're creating connection and building rapport by helping somebody solve a problem. On Canva, you can easily take your LinkedIn, Facebook, or MySpace headshot and turn it into a branded
We're bringing
infographic.
MySpace back. Persona Marketing and Love Local Media Agency are combining their brains, and we're going to bring MySpace back in a new and informed way.
It's coming back. So it's very easy to take that and turn that into a branded infographic that says, hey, if you experience this problem, let's talk. Now your picture is generating leads for you. Just those two right there are best practices, but one that I really want to touch up on, and one of my all-time favorite books, it's called The Go-Giver by Bob Burg.
Mhm.
Giver's gain. If you are somebody that becomes obsessed with adding value, what happens is you develop a reputation of somebody who gives more than they take. Especially in today's world, people enjoy being around others like that.
For
That
sure.
reputation on its own can do almost all of the selling for you. And finally, people do business with those who they know, like, and trust. Trust comes from combining all three of those. But the thing is, nobody can sell you better than a satisfied customer. So if you collect a Google review, a Facebook review, Yelp, whatever it is, also using Canva, you can take that and turn it into a cool graphic, display it on social media so more people can see it. And ultimately, what that allows you to do is scale the sale. Because when you make a sale, that's great, but you also lose your best prospects.
Yeah. Oh, I love sitting down chatting with you, man. I feel like we could do this every single day and bring different value to our target audience and to our consumers. ChatGPT and artificial intelligence is going to change our world. Appreciative of you for diving in head first to be able to learn it so that the small businesses in our community could continue to fly. I know I want you to give a moment to tell the audience where they could find you, but I know you have some great things coming up with that you're already doing actually with the Content Machine 3-day crash course that I want to make sure people are aware of, that you just go in tons and tons of depth, more specifics than what we talked about here, but tell people where they can find you and how can you help them flourish.
Yeah, definitely. So basically, my company, Persona Marketing, I teach salespeople and small businesses do-it-yourself marketing, leveraging AI. That way, they don't have to put a company on retainer to make it for them. Now, I'm not saying fire your marketing company, but I'm saying if you're somebody that's a solopreneur or has 5 or less employees, I can show you how to do this stuff. Now, if you want to connect, just go to thisisalanstern.com. That's my digital business card. ALANSTERN is the proper way to spell my name. You never know, man. Alan's a 2-syllable name, and there's like 5 different ways to spell it. And then what I did is I put together a 3-day crash course. Well, I'll go over in depth the heat method. So humor, education, adding value, and trust. 3 separate Zoom calls with the Facebook group. You get the recording, and I'll show you how to do all of this stuff leveraging AI. So that right there is actually the workbook. They'll have worksheets that show the before and after, especially on Canva. Start here. Step 2, you do this. Step 3, you do this. And in 2 minutes or less, you have that. So if you're interested in having a conversation, feel free to reach out. Or you can just go to allens3daycrashcourse.com and all the info is on there.
Cool. Beautiful, man. Grateful for the conversation today and just dropping the knowledge for our audience. And I look forward to continue to see you fly. I know from this crash course, we've learned a lot within our business. My friends out there, running a business is hard. And especially when you have a really small business and you got to keep up with this marketing world. The tactics he brings when it comes to ChatGPT and that you'll learn within this 3-day course is really going to help you and your business be able to flourish. We love what we do. We love helping businesses. We're not for everybody. We have a cost. We have a lot of labor behind this. He's going to teach you the way to be able to do it and to be able to do it so that it could be right within your bottom line. So you as a small business could flourish and thrive as we continue to go forward in this artificial intelligence world that we're in. So as always, my friends, thank you. We hope we drop some value for you here. Go check out Alan Stern, where he said to be able to follow. We'll put it down in the show notes as well. If you're looking to be on the show and you want to talk shop, We would love that conversation. Do us a favor, shoot us, follow the link down in the copy to be able to learn more about what that becomes, and we'll tell you if we're the right fit to be able to talk here on Brandworthy. But thanks, guys. Appreciate you very much. And start creating content, start getting your message out there. The world needs more of that. So peace, everybody. Thank you.